What's up, family? This is going to be heavy. This is going to be heavy. Fair warning. One of the young ladies, as a subscriber, asked me about a video in regards to being faithful in a relationship. And we're going to get to that. Her name was Taz. Thank you, Taz, for that comment and that suggestion. We're going to get to that. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room. Stay with me. We're going somewhere. Sit back, buckle up your seatbelts, because this is going to get rocky. This is going to get rough. It's going to get real rough. Okay? We have to address the problem. And that's what I mean, the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is the problem that nobody's talking about. Everybody's ignoring. Okay? There's an ancient proverb from Africa and from Asia that says it takes a village to raise a child. I'm going to say that again. There are ancient proverbs from Africa and from Asia that says it takes a village to raise a child. Stay with me. It's about to get deep. The ancients understood this. But for some reason, we can't grasp that. What do I mean we can't grasp that? Look at who we allow. Look at what we allow to influence our kids. I understand that parents and parents alone aren't the only influence on a child's life. They have friends, they have peers at school, at church, at mosques, at temples, wherever they go, if they are in religion in any way, shape, or form. And even now with social media, man, it's all over the place. You look at the music that's been promoted. Stay with me. I don't support me. I'm old school, very old school. I don't support anybody. I don't care who they are, that talks about the destruction of the community, that put out music that, or anything of that nature, that's all about tearing down the community. What I mean, if you talking about banging, you ain't getting nothing from me. You ain't got no respect from me at all. I know that's how you make your money. And to each their own. You know what I mean? I'm not here judging anybody. That's not me. That's not me. I'm about love. I'm about growth and development. I'm about sustainability. I'm about us teaching young men and young women how to be kings and queens. How to respect themselves. How to respect others. That's what I'm about. And so my perspective is going to be based on that. So if you about banging and slanging, man, I ain't got nothing for you. I have no respect for that. Because that destroys the community. That destroys our people. And when I say our people, I'm not talking about just black people. I'm talking about everybody. So you can't talk about love and growth and development and you all about the people and you talking about banging. You can't talk about you all about the people and you talking about slanging dope, which you know is poisoning the community. Stay with me. We're talking about being faithful in a relationship. But we're going to get there. We're going to talk about the problems first. We have to address and acknowledge the problems. You can't talk about you all about loving the people and hoop-de-hoop, and your music is sexualizing young women. You can't talk about you love the community, you love the people, when you got women up there half naked. And you hyping that up and making your videos and your money off the back of these beautiful young ladies. Because what you do is you do two different things to the young men. You tell young men that it's okay to view women as sexual objects. And that's all they're worth. That's all they are. You can sit there talking about, man, she's beautiful and whoopty whoopty whoop. But subconsciously, what you're telling these young men, that it's okay to demonize these women. It's okay to sexualize these young women. It's okay to look at these young women as sexual objects to be had like a piece of property. Because that's what we're saying to these young men. That may not be your intent, but that's what they're saying to these young men. And on the flip side, what are they saying to the young women? If you're not curved like that, if you ain't got a butt like that, if you ain't got breasts like that, you ain't beautiful. If you ain't got full lips and got these types of features, you ain't beautiful. You ain't attractive. You're not what men are gonna want. In order to be wanted by a man, this is how you gotta dress. In order to be wanted by men, in order to be seen as beautiful by men, this is how you gotta dress. This is how you gotta look. Until we, as a community, as a country, take responsibility for the crap that's on the airways, until we as a community, until we as a nation sit back and say, yeah, you're entitled to make whatever music you want. But we're not going to support it. We're not supporting it because of what the message is that's been sent to these young women, because of the message that's been sent to these young men. So you get no prop in the community. You're entitled to put out your music, just like we're entitled to boycott it. We have to learn to start teaching these young women and these young men that they're kings and queens. And we have to start teaching them self-value, self-worth, how to carry themselves as young men, as young women, as kings and queens. So you can't talk about being faithful in a relationship if you ain't got no self-worth. If your image, if your thought process, I gotta look like this, like Nicki, whatever the girl's name is, Nicki Minaj, whatever her name is, Beyonce, any of them other people. If you think that's beautiful, to me that ain't beautiful. That ain't attractive to me at all. Not me. Again, I'm old school. I'm old school. Do I like beautiful women? I'm attracted to beautiful women. But I'm attracted to a beautiful woman that shows her beauty to me and me alone. You ain't got to show everybody your beauty. That's for me. Let's keep that at home. Keep that covered up. Because if you out there showing it to everybody else, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Because it's not queen material for me. It's not king material to be walking around with your pants hanging down your tail, sagging. That's not what a king do. And until we as elders in the community, until we as people in the community take responsibility for what's going on, you're not going to have no faithful relationships for the most part. Because we're not teaching the young people how to be respectful. We're not teaching the young people how to have self-pride, how to value themselves, how to adore themselves, how to love themselves. So most of the young women grow up and they don't have a positive father figure in their life. And so they looking for some dudes to tell them that they beautiful. They're looking for attention from dudes. And what is the music industry throwing them? Man, in order to be beautiful, this is what you got to do. What are we showing them on the block? What are we showing them in the hood? In order to be beautiful, man, this is what you're going to have to do. And ain't none of it positive. None of it. So how do you have a committed relationship? How do you have a faithful relationship? Man, they got to start with you personally. You got to have some self-worth. You got to be hooked up with somebody that has some self-worth. That has some pride about themselves. That understand who they are. And I'm not talking about they understand who they are and they out there hoeing. Male or female. There's a lot of dudes out there that hoes. I was one. I was a man-ho. I acknowledge that. I slept with every woman I could because I didn't have any self-worth. My self-worth came from the fact that I can have sex with anybody I want to. I could have sex with all these women. That was my self-worth. Because I was twisted, because I didn't understand who I really was. I really didn't value myself. And I had no concept of what a man was. Because to me, a man got all these hoes. A man is sleeping with all these women. That's the garbage I was taught. Family. Once you get some self-pride, once you get some awareness of who you really are, what you're really about, you have some dignity about yourself, you understand that you ain't got to do a whole bunch of stuff. You ain't got to give yourself up to anybody and everybody. You understand that it's not your beauty that makes you a queen. It's that internal beauty that makes you a queen. And it has nothing to do with how you look physically. As a man, it's not about how deep your pockets are. It's not about how many gats you got. It's not about your ride. That's all superficial, stupid stuff that we've been taught on the streets. And ain't none of that got anything to do with being a queen or a king. So how do you stay faithful? Man, you got to learn who you are. You got to be hooked up with somebody who knows who they are. And that's what they're about. You're not going to be in a faithful relationship if you're trying to find your identity and the other person's trying to find their identity, and they have a misconcept of what a man is and you have a misconcept of what a woman is or what a boss is, and you thinking that just because you got dudes paying your rent and paying your bills and getting your fingernails done and your hair done and kicking you down some money, whoop-de-whoop, that you running stuff. And it's okay to give up some stuff to them. To each their own. To each their own. You know, again, I'm not knocking nobody. I've been down that road. But it's time that we start educating the young ones coming up so that they don't keep perpetuating the same stupid cycle that we was on. Family, we have to understand who we are. We have to understand what we want. Most of us ain't ready for a relationship. That's real talk. And it has nothing to do with your age. Most of us aren't emotionally ready for a relationship. Because because you don't know who you are. I love you. Happy healing.